I think, yeah, welcome weekend is a great opportunity to get kind of all the emotions at once. So there's excitement, of course, but for me at least, there was also a lot of fear and anxiety and isolation and kind of feeling like a castaway at first.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Encounters podcast for the Center of University Advising. These are stories of first year students and their walks of life in Notre Dame. I'm Sophia Torcelino, one of the new media interns with Notre Dame, and today we are joined with.
I'm Gino Santini. I am a sophomore now here at Notre Dame. I'm studying business analytics as well as entrepreneurship and theology. And I am from the Chicago suburbs, but I live in Dunhall now.
Yes, so welcome to the show, Gino. To start off and to get to know you and your story, we would like to ask you, how did you end up here at Notre Dame? Why Notre Dame? And what was your story coming in as a first year student?
Yeah, I think my story is a little bit different than a lot of people. I think Notre Dame is a destination that people plan to come since the time they're born. At least a lot of my friends seem like that. But for me, I didn't know where I wanted to go to college, and I didn't know what path I wanted to go down. So I ended up applying like to over a dozen schools, all which would have taken me down a different life path and met different people and focused on different things. But I remember something was different about Notre Dame, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to apply here at first, but there was just such a raw honesty in the essays I wrote. And in late December, when I found out I got in, I remember calling my grandmother who was in the hospital at the time, and I told her that I got in, and there was such a like sincere pride in her voice, like something that I had never really heard before. And I knew that by joining the Notre Dame community, I was joining something special and was much larger than just me and my academic focus. Um, so there was like a little bit of a feeling of relief when I kind of heard that and felt that, and I kind of slowly decided that this was going to be the place I would call home.
Wow, that's so great to hear. Like, what a touching story with your grandma. I know, like, family and friends really formulate our journeys, and them being part of our decision to committing to a school. It's like one great step to like bridging family and our personal life with our academics and professional life. Now, with that, how was your transition specifically on Welcome
Mhm,
Weekend, the weekend where your family gets to
mhm.
come with you and visit and experience a little bit of that college life and then send you off to start off your semester? How was that?
I think, yeah, welcome weekend is a great opportunity to get kind of all the emotions at once. So there's excitement, of course, but for me at least, there was also a lot of fear and anxiety and isolation and kind of feeling like a castaway at first. And I think a lot of these feelings were things that kind of spurred up in my college discernment the year prior. Um, and although I did have some relief, like when I decided to come to Notre Dame, I those feelings kind of came back in a very strong way. I was overwhelmed at times, but it was all for good reason. I think um, there's a beauty in kind of getting that all out right away, as opposed to waiting a year or 2 or 3 or 4 and graduating and still not having answered the questions that you kinda set out. But I remember when my parents first left, actually, it was the breakfast before they left. I was sitting there and I was just filled with so many spurring emotions, and I just had no idea how I was gonna, like, move on in the coming days. I felt that I had so much thrown at me that um really just didn't know how to digest it. I didn't know how I was gonna be okay on my own in an environment where I didn't know a single person. Um, I didn't feel like the same that I did feel at home. So there was definitely a lot left unanswered there.
Yeah, we're both sophomores. I'm pretty sure like we're all kind of experiencing it at the same
Mhm,
time. I remember something similar where I had my final dinner with my parents, and they like lived 20-hour flight away from here. And like I knew that sitting at that table, it was gonna be the last moment before, going into this college life. And I was kind of, I mean, maybe it wasn't such a big deal to them, but to us, it's like
mhm,
we're going through that change and we're trying to find our people in our community. So I think it's very touching and nice to know that other people also experience
mhm.
the same or similar experiences. And with that, you finding any full circles with welcome weekend and like your position in Notre Dame. Um, yeah, like you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, kind of extending from welcome weekend in those first coming weeks, these feelings still lingered, and I remember they all kinda came out. It was within the first 2 weeks, and I had gotten my first, like, real college reading to do. It was for a theology class, actually, and I remember just being so lost, and, of course, I felt lost because I didn't know what was going on in the reading, and I and I but I think it was kind of just a catalyst for all these emotions to come out at once. Um, so I ended up calling my mom kind of in a feeling of distraught and just explaining all these feelings, all these questions that I didn't have the answers to. And she kind of ensured me that I shouldn't have the answers yet, and I'm there to find the answers. And from that point on, it kind of shifted my perspective, um, from feeling as if I should have it all figured out right away to understanding that through the different activities at Notre Dame, I would figure it out. Um, and so I just tried to get involved with as much as possible, and I slowly started to find ways in which I could buy in. The biggest way probably was in the dorm culture, just because that's kind of the root of a lot of what we do here. It's kind of the brotherhood or sisterhood that you'll experience first, and the conversations that you'll have um, very meaningfully and in different aspects of your life. And so getting involved there was probably the biggest full circle moment. So I spent a long time trying to um, find my own way, and then I wanted to learn how to help others find their own way. So that came from wanting to join um, this last year's St. Andre committee, which is the Welcome Weekend committee. And so it was kind of a great feeling for me going from this was like the most fearful event for me to being something that I was so eager and enthusiastic to be a part of. I mean, that's because I knew that I would be able to recognize freshmen like me who I could see those emotions spurring. I could see the fear behind their excitement, and really give them my own story and tell them that it would be okay and kind of give them that assurance that my mom gave me, after the coming weeks that I kind of felt like a castaway. Um, and so it didn't stop there. I loved how that felt. I loved the feeling of giving back to others, and so I continued to find ways to get involved. A cool way that I did that was as our health and wellness commissioner in our dorm. Um, Personal health and fitness is something that I've always been passionate about and guides a lot of what I do. And so being able to help others and give freshmen advice and make funny slides relating to the topic each week was something awesome. And then after that, Dunn Hall hosts a retreat every year, and it's like the biggest retreat on campus by any dorm. And the leader of it asked me to give a speech this year. And so my speech topic was on vision, and I found ways to tie that into this story that I'm telling today, as well as a lot of my passion in uh, physical health, mental health, and spiritual health, which are kind of the core values that I hold to myself. And so, kind of talking about the clarity and vision needed. So, um, looking back, I can see that I didn't have a clear vision when I first started out, and I had all these irrational thoughts and questions and emotions. But by getting involved with the Notre Dame culture and community, that vision has increased over time. And it was very cool to be able to inform others on that journey.
Wow. That's like very good to hear. I mean, this is what makes Notre Dame so great. We have these students, like first year students,
Mhm.
who come in and they're already so passionate and motivated. And although like we kind of get isolated within our first year and all the transitions, we still are trying to find like a way to give
Mhm.
back. I know there's different ways to give back, and your like method, your way is definitely impactful. We see the different little events here where we have like tutoring. We have right now in this month we have this event called Back the Bend where we're giving back to the South Bend community. And so just coming to Notre Dame, it just is a testament to that we continue to give back, not to only uh, gain education for ourselves, but also to educate others and to help them in their walks of life. And so with that, how is your education here at Notre Dame? How are you finding it? Seems like you're getting more positioned, grounded here. And uh, how do you see that helping in your academic career right now?
Yeah, I think the, beauty of the Notre Dame education is just how well-rounded it is. Um, looking at my story, I kinda said how that first reading assignment that threw me off was that theology assignment, and now I'm a theology minor, so it kinda just goes to show you that there's opportunity to grow, um, in any way that you might want to. And I think a lot of the cool things are the things that you might learn outside of the classroom. So for me, that has been like the different clubs I've joined, or different things I've gotten involved with. Business has always been kind of this passion that I've had, and I've had this great goal in starting my own business or being part of something new, something groundbreaking. And I've been able to find that at Notre Dame. So just through my own experimentation and getting involved at the Idea Center and taking these entrepreneurship classes, I um, took a leap of faith and was able to meet somebody who is running a startup here on campus, and I've just put forth, like, a wholehearted effort in that, and I've been able to find a career path which feels extremely fulfilling to me, even though it may seem risky or unattractive to others. It's not kind of the typical path, but it's something that, um, I've felt so much fulfillment in, and it's been extremely supported by Notre Dame, um, which is definitely something that I don't think would happen all over the world.
Wow. Gino, that is like very inspirational. You found resources here at Notre Dame to support like what you want to do with your career. I mean, I can't even imagine that it's possible to start a startup here in Notre Dame, especially like as a sophomore. But it seems like nothing's really impossible as long as you just try and ask. There's resources on campus and opportunities that you can take hold of. So, with that, thank you so much for joining us today, for being our first guest for the Encounters podcast. It's going to be definitely a inspirational and motivating factor for incoming students for the next coming years. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'm Gino Santini, and this has been my Notre Dame story.
Thank you. This is Sophia Torcelino closing off Encounters podcast.